The meeting is called to order. This is the regular meeting for the City Commission, Monday, March 25th, 2019. Will you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Our invocation this evening will be given by Pastor Ellen Bierlein, of the First United Methodist Church.
I just recently moved to Buchanan back in July, and I got to say, this is the friendliest place I have ever lived. It's been very good
Thank
being
you.
here.
That's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Holy and loving God, we thank you so much that you have gone before us to this moment. We pray, Father, that this meeting will be about your work for your people. And we just pray that this time will be a time where we can come together with wisdom and with compassion and with direction from you. Thank you that we have a free place to come with our government and with our faith and religion, that we have a place to serve you right here, and that we have the right to live here in Buchanan. Thank you for it, and may we always honor it and go forward in it. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much. This evening, we have some recognitions, and it's our pleasure to start with the proclamation on the 90th birthday of J.W. Jones, the man, the legend, the mighty chessman. Whereas Mr. J.W. Jones will be honored by friends and relatives on the occasion of his 90th birthday on April 12th, 2019, and whereas he has been a longtime resident of the city of Buchanan, Michigan, and whereas he is currently Buchanan's eldest living African-American resident, and whereas, in addition to being a husband, father, and grandfather, he has also been active in church and his community. And whereas, during a long and productive lifetime, he has demonstrated in countless ways his dedication to those around him and has earned the respect and affection of people from all walks of life and all ages. And whereas he has lived during the most eventful time of this world's history, and in his quiet way has been a force for good and a positive influence on those around him. Now therefore I, Dr. Patricia Moore, Mayor of the City of Buchanan, along with the City of Buchanan Commissioners, do hereby deem it an honor and pleasure to extend this certificate of recognition to J.W. Jones on the occasion of his 90th birthday with sincere congratulations and best wishes for many more happy, productive years. In witness thereof, I do hereby set my hand and cause the seal of Buchanan to be affixed this 25th day of March 2019. Will you please come forward and receive your proclamation?
It's upside down.
We've got to beat the paparazzi here.
There you go.
Mr. Nixon here
I don't see him.
I haven't seen him.
for White Cane Week?
I don't see Mark.
No, I don't see Mr. Nixon here.
We can just read the proclamation and we can hold it for him. Well, congratulations. We're very proud of you and wish you a very happy birthday. Our next recognition will be in recognition of the Lions Club White Cane Week, proclamation May 3rd and 4th, 2019. And whereas the Buchanan Galeen Lions is an organization dedicated to helping those who are less fortunate and those in need of charitable assistance, especially Buchanan area residents who are visually impaired. And whereas this organization of devoted volunteers is committed to helping the visually impaired lead normal lives in our society, which depends so greatly on the ability to see, to remain safe, to work, and to learn. And whereas the white cane has become an international symbol which identifies a sightless person in the community and reminds those who can see of the many obstacles the blind experience on a daily basis. And whereas annually the Buchanan Galeen Lions promote a 7-day period known as White Cane Week, in which they collect funds in their communities to assist the needy in obtaining eye examination, eyeglasses, and white canes, and to support many sight conservation projects such as Leader Dogs for the Blind, the Aid to Sight Handicapped through examination and eyeglasses for the less fortunate, and the Welcome Home for the Blind. And whereas during the last 3 decades, White Cane Week has alerted a multitude of community members to the needs of the blind and has helped many blind people live happy and fruitful lives as citizens of the Buchanan area. And whereas this year, dedicated Buchanan Galeen Lions volunteers will once again sponsor White Cane Week by offering white canes on May 3rd and 4th in Buchanan City to emphasize the needs and rights of those lacking the sense of sight. Now therefore be it proclaimed that on this 25th day of March, 2019, the Commissioners of the City of Buchanan do hereby proclaim April 29th through May 4th Lions White Cane Week and urge all citizens to become familiar with the meaning and purpose of the white cane, leader dogs, and to lend support to other lion projects. Let's have a round of applause for the Lions. And our third recognition this evening, before we start the main meeting, will be a presentation from the Masonic Lodge. Dan Hinkle, Spencer Miller, and Dudley Nelson. Will you please come forward for that presentation?
Mayor, City Council members, myself, Daniel Hinkle, Brother Dudley Nelson, and Brother Spencer Miller from Buchanan Masonic Lodge number 68. Last week, our organization was approached by the fire department seeking funds to assist them with the purchase of life-saving equipment. Our department is the only department in the area who does not currently possess this equipment. As a former veteran and first responder myself, I can tell you that every minute can be crucial in an emergency situation. As the old adage goes, train as you fight, fight as you train. It's a little difficult to do that when our volunteers are properly trained to use the tools, but do not have the tools at their disposal. Relying on neighboring departments to come to our rescue with these tools could be the difference between life and death. I would rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. I would like to quickly read the mission statement of the Buchanan City Fire Department. The Buchanan City Fire Department members dedicate their efforts of emergency response to protecting the citizens of Buchanan, their property, and preserving the environment. The mitigation of these emergencies, whether they are small or large, is accomplished through training, experience, and the overall desire to help others. The overall desire to help others is also a value that we as Masons share. And at this time, we would like to present a check for $3,000 to the fire department for this extraction equipment or future funds for other equipment if needed. And we hope that the City Council would reconsider its position on granting the fire department the necessary funds to make Buchanan a safer community. So if I
Thank
could
you
have-
so much.
Could I have one of the fire department members?
That'd be fine. Squish it. Spencer, get in there.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. It's very much appreciated. Thank you so
Thank you.
much to the Masonic Lodge.
Thanks, guys.
We will now start the rest of the meeting with a roll call, please, from the clerk.
Moore,
Here.
Dennison,
Here.
Downey,
Here.
Turney,
Here.
Whedon.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Public comments. We are now hearing public comments. Citizens are allowed up to 3 minutes to discuss any item on the agenda. Please come forward if you wish to be heard. Okay, seeing no one rising.
I think
Randall.
Randall.
Oh.
I wanted to know whether you will be covering in some detail the next year's planning strategy, the thing you had on a Saturday 2nd, I think. It's in the further down to be approved. And I was wondering if it was going to be covered or if it's just a statement of approval, and what's going to be done with it.
Well, it's on an agenda item to be discussed, so I don't know the length of what people have to say, but the ultimate idea is for approval, but, yeah. So I can't predict how much conversation we're going to have.
Well, I wanted to know what is done with that sort of statement, that sort of very impressive list of goals or targets.
We refer to that throughout the year to try to focus, and actually, it's a directional to the city manager from us to work on projects and set priorities. So that's what the goal is.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to suggest that you might make use of a hidden talent, or maybe he's not hidden anymore, in the Buchanan Area Senior Center, Adam Burke, who is a qualified, I've already spoken to him briefly. I have never suggested any of this, but he has a master's in urban planning, and although he's already maybe doing all the work he wants to do, I thought maybe we could make use of him as an assistant to help Bill or anybody else who's trying to work out what to do with all those targets. See if we can get some of them done.
That sounds wonderful. You can have, suggest to him to come meet with Bill.
I haven't really said anything like this to
It'll
him.
be
I
a
just
surprise to
thought-
him that you've already volunteered him, but yeah.
No, I was
No,
thinking
I know.
you could talk to him if it fits in with the plans, you know.
Okay. All right, thank you so much for the suggestion.
Mayor, I could make a comment on that.
Sure.
With, Mr. Burke, actually, Mr. Burke's coming in this week. We're sitting down with SMACUS to talk about transportation opportunities between SMACUS and the senior center. And again, we're hoping to continue to engage Mr. Burke into further conversations with the city.
Excellent, thank you. Are there any other public comments? Okay. We'll move on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'll make the motion that we approve the consent calendar.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Any discussion? If not, let's have roll call, please.
Moore,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Turney,
Yes.
Whedon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We're now to our reports, and could we have Bethany Cowan, please come forward?
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that I have not met, I'm Bethany Cowan. I am the organizer for the Superhero Run for Belly Buttons. This is our 5th year. My oldest daughter was born with gastroschisis, where her intestines and other organs were on the outside of her body when she was born. So every year we do the Superhero Run to raise money for Avery's Angels Gastroschisis Foundation. It's the only nonprofit in the United States that is dedicated to these families. So they raise money for research. We still don't know why gastroschisis happens and why it's on the rise, but they are dedicated to research and one day finding out why this happens, and also assisting families with travel and medical needs because most hospitals aren't equipped to handle this type of thing. So on May 25th, we propose to have our 5th year of the Superhero Run for Belly Buttons at 9 o'clock on the McCoy Creek Trail.
And how would they contact you if they were interested in running
We have
or
a Facebook
volunteering?
page,
Okay.
Superhero Run for Belly Buttons, and as soon as we have approval, we will be releasing our registration details and more details for the date, and all of my contact information is there as well.
Okay, very good. Are there any questions?
Can you tell us, I think at the bar meeting the other night, you told us something about the fundraising and how well it's gone?
Yeah, actually, we are the biggest fundraiser in the nation for Avery's Angels. So at total, we're at roughly $14,000 in the last 4 years, which is just a huge figure for a very little known medical condition. And actually, like I said, it's on the rise. 20 years ago, it was 1 in every 10,000 family was affected. Now it's about 1 in every 2,200 families are affected by this. So, or excuse me, babies that are born are affected by this. So, again, numbers are increasing up and up and up, and we'd love to know why. We had 16 families participate last year with children that are either surviving children or families of children that didn't make it. And so it's incredible as well. I can speak as a mom to one of these kids that I get to meet people from all over the Midwest that have been affected by this.
Well, it's a wonderful event.
Yes.
And are there any other questions about it?
I'd just like to say thank you so much for spearheading something like this. I realize that it's not something that you would have asked for, right, that you dealt with, and obviously you've...
It is, I will say it's my hardest thing I've ever been through, and I know that these guys I've known for 5 years, like Brenda and Bill and Pat, and the first year that I got up here, I think I cried half of the time that I was up here, and now I can talk about it, and so
great.
it's been incredible. My daughter has a best friend that lives in Niles, who they both were born with the same thing, and
that.
they both don't have belly buttons, and
Right.
they'll have somebody that they can talk to, and as a parent, to have that
great.
makes your heart happy that your kids can be happy.
So, and my wife's daughter was born with CDH.
Okay.
She's $1 million baby, so we
Yep,
understand where you're
yes,
coming
I have
from.
one of those as well.
And she was born with a congenital diaphragmatic hernia. It's not something that's very common, but it's in such that unique world that when you connect with people that it seems to bond.
It
And
does.
we go to races throughout the country that have something to do with that to raise money. So
Awesome.
thank you so much for doing that. I know that means the world to mothers, and to see children and connect with other children who have that and realize that you're not the only one, right?
Yeah.
You're not unique.
Oh, yeah.
And that there is other children that can survive and be happy and not have a belly button and maybe one day get a tattoo that's a belly
Right.
button, right? So,
She already technically has her belly button pierced,
So.
the way that her scardio, which is, she's 9, so
Yeah.
we won't have to have that conversation one day, but
but thank you so much for doing that.
yeah,
I know.
it's really my pleasure. It's a very humbling experience. I'm happy that
awesome.
I have her.
Well, we hope
tonight,
to grow the awareness.
yeah,
So thank you.
she had to go to a women's basketball game at Notre Dame tonight, or else she'd be here to speak for herself, but
She-
Priorities.
Are there any other questions? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion for approval.
I'll make that motion that we approve the superhero run for belly buttons.
I'll second that.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Council.
If no other discussion, shall we have roll call?
Yes. Moore,
Yes?
Dennison,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Turney,
Yes,
Whedon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Congratulations and thank you for doing that. Let us know if we can help you. Okay. All right, we are now at unfinished business. We are going to be discussing the 2019-2020 City Commission goals as established at the annual goal-setting session on Saturday, March 2nd, 2019. Anyone want to start the conversation?
I'll start the conversation. Before the meeting started, I had just mentioned to Mayor Moore briefly that I was a little concerned that our list of priorities is a little too lengthy, and it's hard to say we have goals or priorities when it's nearly everything that we discussed at our first meeting. So it would be my hope that we could have another meeting where we could chisel this list down to make a little bit more clearer priorities and goals. So that's
Is
just,
there any other comments? Well, I agree with you, and I think during that time, we did talk about, because I do think we ran out of time, we have more talking to do, and so I agree with you, we could use some more focus, but I think we should just hold these up as our goals for now, and then just with the understanding that as time, a few months from now, we may be altering them or adjusting them as we need to. So I'll just entertain a motion to approve them.
I would make the motion to approve the 1920 City Commission goals as established with the caveat that we will be having more meetings in the future to chisel them down.
Is there a second?
Make that second.
Any further discussion on the motion? If not, let's have roll call, please.
The bill has-
Mayor,
Oh, yes.
just a quick comment. Because of this discussion that came out of the goal setting, we're going to be scheduling kind of quarterly meetings to sit down with the commission to talk about and do a eval of what we've produced here. I think that would be very beneficial,
I think
as our
that's
meeting
very good.
the other day was for the budget. And when we did the goal settings, I think there's a lot of communication that goes on and good exchange between myself and the commission and the public and the commission. So out of this, we are going to continue to meet quarterly just to have that work session, this kind of the state of the city work session to see where we're at and, so on. Okay?
I think that's a great idea, so, and I appreciate that response already to what we asked. So we could have roll call, please.
Downey,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes,
Turney,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Motion carries.
okay. Our next item is to consider the purchase of extrication equipment for the City of Buchanan Fire Department in the amount of $21,770 and applying the gift, the very generous gift from the Masonic Lodge of $3,000 to this purchase. Is there any conversation? Anyone have anything to say?
I just want to thank the Masons for stepping up and helping our fire department, who does a great job day in and day out. I think it's very nice of you to do that. That's it.
Yes, Commissioner.
I want to agree with Dale. Thank you guys for stepping up and doing that. I know the first time when this got voted down, I heard about it. And I won't apologize for the decision I made the first time based on the information that was in front of me. But the very following Saturday, we had a meeting and several other firemen showed up and enlightened me. And I learned a lot in that meeting that I didn't know the Monday before when we went to vote on the extrication equipment. And just to kind of bring the public, so the public knows, one of the things that I didn't realize, and I don't know all the terms, so you'll have to bear with me, but when we voted originally, one of the things that I thought was that Bertrand Township had the equipment, Buchanan Township had the equipment, but the city didn't. And I thought, why would they need it? It's right there and it's right there. But one of the things we learned in the Saturday meeting was that the way the calls go through is that if there's not enough volunteers at one house, they may say, we pass, you need to call the next one. So the houses that have that equipment may not even show up. So that's new to me. I didn't know that when we voted the first time. And I commend the guys that showed up that Saturday and filled us in on all that stuff. So I don't want to speak for Mark and Cameron, but I think we learned a lot that we didn't know the first time we voted. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I think there was, like you just stated, sir, that I think that there was some either miscommunication or a lack of communication the first time. I think that obviously we had guys come down and talk about it because, you know, that's one of the things that, the two big things was that communication line. I think we didn't communicate well of that, how that could happen. And that is a possibility. That's with any mutual aid. Any kind of mutual aid happens if they can't supply enough people to house a truck. We usually want 3 to 4 people to respond. Whether it's a vehicle accident or a structure fire, they can pass, and you know that's always a possibility. And like I say again, nothing against either one of our townships because they would help us anytime and they would respond. But like we talked about before, their response time and our response time would be 2 different times. So this is all about that, and that this equipment, not only that it is vehicle extrication equipment, but has many other applications that we can use this for. Besides the fact that we will be training with it. So we'll be training with it every year, but there is many applications. We've had children stuck in swing sets before. We could use it to open doors, especially metal doors in industrial settings. So there's a lot of other applications we could use this for. Yeah, I think there was one of the things, when I came to the table before, I guess I just assumed that you knew more than you actually
Well, I
knew.
think, we've stated before that sometimes we get things set in front of us with a couple days' notice, and we don't always have the information maybe we should have, but yeah, it is what it is. It's back here now.
Yep, and the other, I guess the other thing was that we weren't asking for any additional money. It was money that's
Right.
already been allotted.
Right.
So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Or if not, we could entertain, Commissioner Donnie?
Yeah, I'm totally on board with what Sean said. I mean, we didn't have all the information. I mean, the fact that if you needed help, and these guys are not in the vicinity, like I said, and they aren't going to get there in time, that's pretty darn critical. We didn't understand all of what goes into what you guys do as far as response time and stuff like that. I would like to see, you know, some more fundraising. I talked to Chris about fundraising a little bit, and, you know, it's almost like Chris was a little bit down on, you know, the fundraising things that guys have done in the past. So I think we just need to market it better. You know, we'll do whatever we can do to help out.
and we do. We try not to hit the public too hard. You know, some of the departments go overboard, in my opinion. But we try not, we try to do it when we can. And we could definitely do some more, there's no doubt. And we definitely appreciate the generous donation that we've been given. We can and will do that. Like I say, we try not to hit the public, overly, I guess would be the kind of the term to use. But yeah, anywhere we can go, we'll definitely, that we can help, we will. So,
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay.
no problem.
I'll entertain,
Yeah, I'd just like to say thank you for everybody who showed up on Saturday. Mike, thank you for your presentation and the information that you provided from the entire team, right? Your presentation, as much as you were trying to reserve yourself to make judgment or not make judgment on the other townships or other service departments, they all serve a purpose, and we all appreciate every one of them, right? And I think the gentlemen that came down, all of them, they came down on Saturday and gave a dynamic presentation on the justification for the equipment. Significantly changed my opinion on what we were making a decision on. And I think that your justification and the training time that was put in was clearly evident that it's necessary. And, when you pull at heartstrings and you give examples of individuals whose mothers could have potentially been extracted from a car and at the time saved, luckily she is with us today, but had she not been in that time that could have been saved because of that equipment, it starts to make your decision a little bit more difficult, right? And thank you to the Masonic Lodge for stepping up to the plate and showing their love and dedication to the fire department as much as the individuals that are in this room tonight. So thank you so much.
Well, thank you. And I guess closing one last note with you. This will also add to many of the other things that we've started this year. As you know, we're an ISO rating of 5. which is pretty good for a paid on-call volunteer department. We're working really hard at getting to a 4. And one of the things, obviously, you guys know John Painter, he's now our fire inspector. As we progress with these fire inspections and pre-planning as we do this, those items are going to help us hopefully get to a ISO 4, which would be great for all of our businesses in town. But this will also help. With this equipment, this is one more item that gives us more points with our ISO. So, not that trying to make that as a thing, but it is one more thing that we didn't have that we will have and the training for, so.
Thank you so much, Chief.
Okay, thank you.
If there's nothing further, let's have a motion.
I'll make the motion to reconsider the purchase.
Or no, you just want to approve the purchase.
I'll make the motion to approve the purchase.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion? Then let's have roll call, please.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes,
Downey,
Yes.
Turney.
Yes.
Motion carries.
thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, firemen. Okay, and now we are on new business. We're going to consider rescheduling the regular scheduled commission meeting of May 27th due to Memorial Day holiday.
I would make the motion that we would reschedule the regular meeting to May 27th due to the Memorial Day holiday.
I'll support that.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, let's have roll call on that.
And that was for the next day.
Yeah, that, I mean,
I just wanted to
actually,
double
that's what they mean. It's kind of worded
Yeah,
a little
this is May
strangely.
27th, which was on the schedule.
Okay. Whedon,
Yes.
Turney,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes,
Downey.
Yes.
Motion carries.
so that makes that meeting to be on the 28th, correct? Okay, so everyone. Okay, now let's go to our next item. Consider renewal of the MMFP for Provisioning Center at 259 East Front Street for Buchanan Development LLC. If there are any questions, we will go into closed session. Does anyone desire closed session to have questions answered? If not, I'll entertain a motion on the renewal.
I'll make the motion that we renew the MMFP for Provisioning Center at 259 East Front Street for Buchanan Development LLC.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay, let's have roll call.
Turney,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Moore.
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. All right, now we're down to public comments on our agenda. Citizens are allowed up to 3 minutes to discuss any non-agenda item. Would anyone like to come forward and? Yeah, you can come up after him.
Jim Cronin, 302 Lake Street.
Thank
And I
you.
live right on the corner of Lake Street and Third. And a week ago Thursday, when we got that little rain, flash flood little rain, I got 5 storm sewers right on my corner. And by the time all the leaves come down that the city didn't get picked up, come down and plugged up those 5 street gutters, I have a river flowing down. I get flow from 3 of the 4 directions, comes down to my corner. So I get a lot of water. And I just can't understand is, I see a letter by Mr. Atkerson in the paper says that us owners should go out and clean out our gutters. And last time I knew, I thought that was part of my taxes. The city would do that. But it don't seem like it gets done. I went out there many times, not only clean my gutter out, I go around and clean all 5 of them out. And that's been going on for years. And if I don't get them cleaned out sometimes for some reason, the water overflows, and I get nice pop cans, sticks, leaves in my yard. And I don't think the city's gonna clean that up. I just don't know what the workers are doing. The weather's pretty nice. I don't think they're plowing snow, and I don't think they're mowing grass. So why can't we get the storm gutters cleaned out?
Thank you for your comment.
Thanks, Jim.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Anyone else?
In Bethany Cowan, again, speaking on behalf of the Buchanan Area Recreation Board, there was a request brought to the board that one of our parks be renamed in honor of Avery Brown, who passed away and was a former resident of Buchanan. And after meeting as a committee, we asked that the City Commission create an ad hoc committee, since we've realized that there are no rules in place at this point in time as regarding naming of parks or any other city assets. So not that we would say no or yes at this time, but we have no rules to actually follow. So if we ask that the city create that with possibly volunteers from the city, the McCoy Creek Trail, the Barb, or any other committees that are affected by this. So.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you for bringing that up. I know, Bill, you had brought that to our attention, and it's something I spoke with Ms. Harris about. That and I grew up with Ryan, and I grew up with a family that was directly affected with that tragedy. And as much as I agree with you, I do think that we need to have policies and procedures in place to protect the city from undue requests to make changes that may not suit everybody's request. So thank you so much for bringing that to the public's notice who happens to watch it on YouTube and is not here present, because I think that it is something that needs to be considered in times like this, that community that is affected directly, that they have those options available and policies are in place to meet those requests. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Whedon, would you like to make a motion that an ad hoc committee be formed?
I would like to. I would like to make a motion to have an ad hoc committee formed to
Discuss the naming
discuss
of-
these needs and discuss
Okay.
these requests that could be brought before the city, and that we have policies and procedures in place to deal with that.
Is there a second?
I'll support.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing that up. Could we have roll call on that issue?
Moore,
Yes?
Dennison,
Yes.
Downey,
Yes.
Turney,
Yes.
Whedon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Excellent. Thank you, and thank you, everyone. Anyone else would like to comment?
As the bicycling season is coming up, we want to avoid the use of the jaws of life, and also we want to make Buchanan a destination for tourists, bicycle tourists at least. And the third point, in the bicycle bylaws for the city, one is instructed to stay to the right of the three-foot stripe, bicycle stripe on the side of the road. And when the Thrill Hill was resurfaced, the bicycle lane didn't get put back, I mean, the three-foot marker. And I've been down there, up and down there a few times, and it's pretty scary because it's not very wide, and could be wider, but it's pretty scary. And I hope that in the plans for the next year or so, we could get some stripes put in.
Thank you for your comment. Anyone else wanting to come forward and make a comment? Okay, seeing no one rising, the city manager, please give us your comments.
Yeah, I would really like to thank the Buchanan Mason Lodge for stepping up and working with the fire department for that donation. Again, I do appreciate it. The community appreciates it as well. You're probably the oldest entity in the city, and you could probably give us a history lesson on that. Yeah, older than the city. So, and again, you make up a pretty significant group that's always contributed well to the city. looking out for our best interests as well. So I do appreciate that effort and that donation towards the fire department's equipment. Bethany, great job, and again, I think your success speaks well of the city, in that the volunteers that step up to help you, and we opened our arms to support what a great cause, and we hope the next event will be a huge success, and it will be, so. So, very good. Again, we are starting to experience some okay weather. The sun's been out a few more times. Temperatures are warming, and with that, there'll be a mountain of work we need to try to get done as a city. Again, I know there was a comment about the catch basins, but I also know that we've got hundreds of them, which is pretty much probably 400 of those that appear. And again, the rain that we received wasn't a small amount. It was a gully watcher, and when we have those, yeah, the whole city goes awry with stuff flowing into those catch basins, which were designed with a significant ability to handle volumes of water, but the level of rain that we had in that occurrence and others have definitely over-challenged, exceeded our capacity to manage that water out through our storm drain system in a timely manner. That is something that through the SAW grant we looked at. We have some information on that. We have projects that would enhance and enlarge those storm drains, but that's going to take time. Again, the request that JT put out, I thought was reasonable in the fact that, you know, if you do see it, any help you can provide to the city is reasonable, because we have a staff of 5 and we have 400+ catch basins that would plug all at once. So we do have a cleaning process for them, but again, 400 of them is a little tough to keep up with. So that's kind of where we're at there. What I was saying, that the weather is improving. We have been out collecting brush today. We've been filling some potholes. Last week, we worked on several alleys that needed to be graded. So that's kind of where we're looking. We're going to continue that through the springtime. We did collect leaves today, but there's all kinds of things that come to float to the top all at once. So we are trying our darndest to keep up with them. And so again, brush has started, so give us a call. Let us know that you have a brush pile out front so we can get it on the schedule, so cemetery can get out and pick those up sometime during the week. So, very good. I also attended the MML conference last week. It was a very good conference. Commissioner Turney was with me. Had some great sessions. We were able to basically hear from our legislators about what is going on up in Lansing, and in my mind, what they're going to try to do to us in Lansing is something we try to walk away with. And again, we did hear the governor speak. She's got a very aggressive agenda, and she has focus on what to do with roads. And I think everybody has heard her plea or battle cry for 45 cents a gallon gas tax. And her explanation of that is that the plan is to, within 10 years, to have all of our highly traveled roads up to a 90% evaluation rate. So does that mean that some of our roads would get benefit? Yes, but most of that money will go to the most traveled roads, and I don't know if Dale will expand on that, but that's interesting to watch. I think there'll be resistance in the legislature against that, but I think there'll be a compromise point that we'll all see some movement in the gas tax rate for that moving forward. So we still have our concerns with the lead and copper standards that the state has come up with. It's an unfunded mandate that you've been briefed on and could cost us a pretty extreme amount over the next 20 years to try to address. There is some, I believe in this legislature, there'll be some conversations about that with a sharing of the responsibility. At least I hope there is. And again, we have until 2021 to make our samples, get our survey done so we know exactly what areas we need to concentrate on in preparing a plan to replace 5% of those per year for 20 years. So that was one of the concerns that we spoke to our legislators about. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Commissioner Whedon?
Just a reiteration to the fire department, thank you so much for the presentations that you did on Saturday. Thank you for showing up today in force and showing your dedication to the city. And as paid volunteers, I know that it's not an easy job, but clearly based on who you are as individuals, and I've spoken to many of you, and I grew up with some, that by and large you are one of the most dedicated paid volunteer groups that anybody could have the pleasure of being associated with. So thank you so much. Once again, Masonic Lodge, thank you for the donation to the equipment that they've clearly justified the need for and the dedication to learning that equipment. And I know that they've exited the building, but thank you so much for the community that showed up today to celebrate his birthday and to invite everybody to his birthday party that is taking place in Niles. So thank you so much. And once again, thank you to the belly button race, right? Please, everybody, take the time and join in. And I know everybody gets dressed up in Superman, in superhero, garb and enjoys the run and runs and walks and participates for a cause that many don't know about. So thank you so much once again.
Commissioner Turney?
Thank you, Mayor. Just to kind of further the MML meeting that me and Bill attended, I would like to, maybe next year, Your Honor, if we can, maybe as a group or individual, it really would help, especially the new members, understand how city government works and how the rules and regulation works for the whole state, which is basically for our city. So maybe next year we could possibly go as a group. It was very enlightening, very good, informative information there. Just to expand a little bit, I've set up an appointment with our state representative, Paul Kett, and he is all in favor of the revenue sharing. He doesn't know what he wants to do with the 45-cent gas tax. And as the governor says, if you got a better plan, let me hear about it. The other thing is that apparently there's bipartisanship possibly getting rid of no-fault insurance. So they're basically are going to work very hard on that particular item. Don't know if it's going to work, but it's something that I think affects all people in Michigan since we had them here. So it was just me, Bill, and our state rep, and I've also set up an appointment with our new state senator, which will be here in the office. So we're going to, we can discuss and look right at her and say, hey, this is what Buchanan needs and so on. What are you going to do for us and so on. Trying to remember all the other things. I can't, I'm getting a little bit of a, trying to remember exactly everything that was going on, but it was very informative. There are a lot of issues that going. I know revenue sharing is the big thing. The state's going to give cities back some more money that, like particularly, I think the city of Buchanan, am I correct in this, Bill? We've lost 2.5 million since in the last 10 years. There are other cities that have lost bigger amounts. So anything that we can get back. that would be very good for us. But the other thing, that no-fault insurance, I think, is a possibility that it might pass. There's going to be a lot of discussions in Lansing, what's going to go on, and the roads are a big issue. It has to be done now, otherwise, I believe what we saw on the chart in Lansing, that in 2 years from now, it'll be even worse if nothing is done. So I can't remember more. I had all my notes, but I didn't read them. But anyway, that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you. Commissioner Downey?
Thank you. I'd like to thank the Masons, too. I didn't get a chance earlier. And the firemen, hey, thanks for coming forward when you felt we were wrong and giving us a little more information and making a better decision. That's it.
Commissioner Dennison?
I wanted to congratulate the chamber on a successful chili walk. I didn't get any of the official numbers, but it seems like it was a really popular and successful event last week. And I wanted to thank the Masons, too, for stepping up and being another example of an organization in our community that steps up and does the right, steps up and does the right thing when they feel they need to. So thank you again for your gift tonight.
Thank you. I'd just like to say, once again, happy birthday to Mr. Jones, and we wish him very well and a wonderful celebration for his 90 years. And thank you to everyone who showed up for the meeting. It's always nice to see a full house. We appreciate it. It gives us the feedback we need to do a good job for you, the citizens. My grandfather would be proud of you guys. As you guys all know, my grandfather started the Masonic Lodge, so I will take credit for all this. Okay? I'll figure out a way to do it, so. And, of course, it was my 5 great-grandfather, so it's quite a ways back. Thank you to the firemen, as always, you're our heroes, and the Belly Button Heroes. It's all about heroes tonight, and we celebrate you all. We thank you all for coming, and we really appreciate your participation in the government. So, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion that we adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.